Folks, the race to the Republican nomination is getting extremely heated, and it's becoming a lot closer than I would prefer. And I thought about this. Why is it that there's so many entities across the political spectrum that are attacking Donald Trump? I mean, you see the regular stuff, the vitriolic attacks against his character, his reputation. That's all, apparently fair game in the world of politics. But then you start to get into some really vicious attacks. Like, for example, the Ku Klux Klan question. The KKK has not been a relevant organization since, the 1960s. Ever since then, they've lost so much power. I mean, even amongst white supremacists, the KKK is sort of a joke. I mean, it just has no real leverage, no power, no influence. And yet, they bring up this ridiculous question about whether Donald Trump supports the KKK or not. Of course, he does not support the KKK. I mean, his daughter Ivanka is married to a Jewish guy. I mean, how much more anti-KKK can you get than that? And there's no way that a businessman can be so successful in America if he was a blatant racist. I mean, this is just absolutely ludicrous. Then you get into some other attacks, such as the ongoing issue, the legal issue with the Trump University. I mean, come on. If you wanted to go to Trump University, you can go to Trump University. All right? There are people, who really don't want to go, and they don't have to. I mean, nobody put a gun to anybody's head saying you got to go to Trump University. Okay? I mean, obviously, it's just like one of those Robert Kiyosaki sessions. There's a lot of people that find value in what Robert Kiyosaki has to say. I particularly don't find any value in what he has to say, but others do. And others, they vote with their wallets. Big deal. That's their choice. I have other things to do with my money. But why should that be an attack? Why should we impugn the character of a presidential candidate because he ran essentially a marketing education seminar? It makes absolutely no sense. And how come these attacks aren't leveled against Ted Cruz and Marco Rubio? I mean, Cruz, the guy just keeps lying and lying and lying. I mean, he was caught lying about how Ben Carson dropped out of the race before he actually did drop out of the race. Now he's engaging in those very same lies against Marco Rubio. This guy's a liar, and he had a porn star as part of his marketing campaign. His campaign commercial featured a porn star. I thought this guy was a Christian. What is a porn star doing in his commercials? I mean, that's a very good question. I mean, something like that, a controversy like that, would undermine significantly someone who ran on a faith-based platform. So why is it that Trump is on the receiving end of these attacks? I mean, just recently, Trump was compared to Adolf Hitler. Adolf Hitler! I mean, you gotta be kidding me. These attacks have zero substance, and they are generated by entities that are very fearful of Donald Trump. Who? Well, I believe that it is the Wall Street aristocracy that is perpetuating a significant amount of these attacks, that are paying for these attacks. The reason why Trump is being attacked is because if Trump were to take the White House, he would be bad for the stock market. And everybody on Wall Street knows that. Now, people would say under a typical candidacy, under a typical Republican candidacy, that Republicans are good for business and ultimately that's good for the stock market. Not so. Not so in Donald Trump's case, because Donald Trump doesn't take, number one, he doesn't take the special interest money, but number two, more importantly, Donald Trump has been attacking pretty much every country, essentially. Okay, he says that we have trade imbalances with a number of foreign partners. And especially he has been directing his attacks against China and saying we're doing very bad business with China. We need to We need to stem that tide. That's got Wall Street freaked out. Because when you look at the institutional ownership of who owns a lot of these stocks, a lot of these publicly traded companies, it's Chinese money. It's foreign money. We have foreign interests all up our butthole. And the only person that is bringing this to the public's attention is Donald Trump. I mean, look at the institutional ownership of Wall Street. Look at who owns a lot of these stocks. Look at the real estate markets. And then look at our debt, our public debt. A significant chunk of it is owned by the Chinese. And it's owned by many foreign powers. We are indebted to so many countries. In fact, we're probably indebted to every single country on the planet Earth. And whether you believe that the Earth is flat or is spherical, it's irrelevant in this case because we owe a boatload of cash to foreign powers, to foreign interests. The Wall Street aristocracy, they love that. They love it because it's just money that's just circulating. It's just that one giant NWO. It's one giant multinational corporation. It's just the money just keeps flowing and flowing and flowing. It flows into their pockets as a commission. But when you have so many foreign powers just churning in this Wall Street casino, hey, they get the kickback all the time. But if that multinationalism suddenly stops, if we are no longer beholden to foreign money because foreign investors are no longer investing their capital with us, that kisses away the commission that these Wall Street fraudster bankers are making just by simply existing. It is an existential crisis for the Wall Street bankers and the Wall Street aristocracy. That's the problem here. That's why they're coming after Donald Trump. They're not going to come after Ted Cruz or Hillary Clinton or Marco Rubio or Bernie Sanders because those candidates, and pretty much every other candidate, they're all up in the pockets of Wall Street, not Donald Trump. Donald Trump is self-sufficient. He's a multi-billionaire. So he doesn't need to take that political interest money. He doesn't need to take the money of the special interests. And because they don't, as in Wall Street, because Wall Street does not have that very public leverage on Donald Trump, he can say whatever the heck he wants, and there's pretty much no consequences. That's got Wall Street freaked out. The end of making commissions simply by existing, by servicing this multinationalism, the collapse of that free money, that would make anybody who is involved in that industry freaked out. And they will stop at no end with these vitriolic, vicious attacks. The one thing that we all could do, we, the American voters, we can put an end to this. We can give the middle finger to Wall Street and the aristocracy that controls multinationalism. We can give them the middle finger by voting for Donald J. Trump.